shame on the person of Ari. He applauded INEC for a job well done in Oyo State and expressed confidence that the electoral umpire will prove its neutrality in the Adamawa process as the whole world is watching. The governor also urged the people of Adamawa State to remain calm and assure that the current situation will be resolved amicably.
Well, I came to show solidarity with my brother, the governor of Adamawa State. When we heard of all the things going on with the election here, we thought, well, it's best, for me to come here personally, deliver a message of hope to him that he shouldn't worry at all. We know that INEC has enough people of conscience to do what is right for Adamawa State and by extension for our democracy in Nigeria. And I also wish to encourage the people of Adamawa State. They've spoken and they spoke very loud. And they should be rest assured that the whole world is watching, and they should just be calm. Things will be resolved, and what their decision will be respected by the authorities.
Meanwhile, the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, for the Adamawa governorship election, Senator Aisha Binani Dahiru, has filed a motion ex parte before the Federal High Court in Abuja, seeking a judicial review of the administrative decision of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on April 16th in respect to a declaration as the winner of the governorship elections held on March 18 and the supplementary poll of April 15. Senator Binani is also seeking an order of prohibition preventing INEC and its agents from taking any further steps toward the declaration of the winner of the elections pending the determination of our application for judicial review. By cancelling our declaration, Senator Binani contends that INEC usurped the powers of the Election Petition Tribunal, which is the only court vested with powers on a declaration from the conduct of an election. In documents put before the court, Senator Binani, through our lawyers led by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Hussaini Zakaria, says a judicial review exists to enable the Superior Court to checkmate the actions and decisions of inferior courts as well as legislative and administrative arm of government, including agencies and public officers. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has hinted at the possibility of closing the third mainland bridge in Lagos State on weekends for maintenance work. Fashola spoke on the backdrop of the recent approval of 6.2 billion naira by the Federal Executive Council (FEC) for the maintenance of the bridge, whose repair will reportedly cover 11 kilometers, including interchanges, ramps, and critical links. The former Lagos State Governor, who spoke, noted that this maintenance was set to fix the worn-out course of the bridge. Fashola stated that the ministry would incorporate with the Lagos State government to speed up the repair process. The minister also said the integrity of the bridge is still intact, adding that the repair would see quality construction resources put in place. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, said it has granted approval to Serum Institute PVT Limited R21 malaria vaccine for the treatment of malaria in Nigeria. The Director General, Professor Mujisola Adeyeye, who said this at a news conference in Abuja, said that granting the application and registration was in line with the agency's mandate as stipulated by the Enabling Law NAFDAC Act Cap N1 Law of the Federation of Nigeria 2004. Adeyeye said that it became necessary to grant approval for the vaccine following the 2021 World Malaria Report that Nigeria had the highest number of global malaria cases of 27%. She said the highest number of deaths stood at 32% of global malaria deaths in 2020, adding that Nigeria accounted for an estimated 55.2% of malaria cases in West Africa in 2020. She said that the vaccine indicated for prevention of clinical malaria in children from 5 months to 36 months of age, adding that storage temperature of the vaccine is 2 to 8 degrees centigrade.
In exercising its mandate is stipulated by its enabling law, Cap N1 2004, to grant registration approval and is granting registration approval for R21 malaria vaccine, recombinant adjuvanted, that was manufactured by Serum Institute of India, and the market authorization holder in Nigeria is Fitsin Healthcare Limited. The R21 malaria vaccine is an adjuvanted protein vaccine presented as a sterile solution.
Stepping away from that now, the federal government has urged the striking aviation workers to resume work, saying the requested adjustment of the minimum wage would be paid soon. In a statement, the spokesman for the Ministry of Aviation, Oluseyi Odutayo, expressed the ministry's displeasure at the industrial action embarked on by the workers, saying the ministry had made efforts to address their demands. Odutayo described the strike as unnecessary, stressing that it would increase the hardship by Nigerians as well as lead to economic losses. He asked the aggrieved workers to sheath their sword, shelve their strike, and contribute their quota to make the country's aviation industry the hub of Africa. Aviation workers commenced their 2-day warning strike with a protest on Monday, a situation that inevitably left many air passengers stranded. It's the 1 p.m. news on Splash 105.5 FM. Still ahead, United States accuses Brazilian president of parroting propaganda over Ukraine war. Ancelotti wants Real Madrid to guard against Chelsea backlash. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll bring you more stories. Please stay with us.
Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, ẹ má jẹ́ kó wo náírà titun àti àìlègbówó yọ yín lẹ́nu. Hope wà lórí fóònù rẹ. Ìfẹ́ ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́gbẹ̀ta náírà wà ńlẹ̀. Torí náà
105.5 FM ilé funfun báláwú fẹ́lẹ́lẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn láti gba fọ́ọ̀mù tirẹ̀ tàbí kí o pe ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 07054393332 Splash FM Media Academy ìdáàbòbò ìwà ọmọlúàbí nínú ètò ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́.
My baby is 6 months old. Oh my! 6 months old? Wow! Now your baby needs more than breast milk. It's time to introduce mashed meals. In addition to breast milk, begin to give your baby mashed meals that contain at least one item from each of these 5 food groups: eggs, fish or meat, fruits and vegetables, oils, beans, groundnuts, soya or millet, rice, potato, maize or yam. From 6 months. In addition to breast milk, your baby needs this combination of food types to grow healthy. This message is from the Anrin Project or your state's Ministry of Health.
Good to know you're still there. It's still 1 p.m. news from Splash 105.5 FM. Turning to the foreign scene now, the White House has sharply criticized Brazilian President Luiz da Silva for accusing the United States of encouraging the war in Ukraine. Lula said after a visit to China at the weekend that the U.S. needed to start talking about peace in Ukraine. Visiting Brazil, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said met Lula and and thanked Brazil for its efforts. U.S. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby accused Lula of parroting Russia and Chinese propaganda. Lula, who has pitched himself as a broker for peace talks to end the conflict, said over the weekend that the United States needs to stop encouraging war and start talking about peace. The United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has described as reckless an attack on a U.S. diplomatic convoy in Sudan amid fighting between the army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF. The action was reckless, it was irresponsible and of course unsafe, he told reporters in Japan, where he attended a meeting of G7 foreign ministers. It came as Mr. Blinken spoke to the head of the army, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, and RSF head Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, and stressed the importance of ensuring the safety of diplomatic personnel and aid workers. The EU's ambassador in Sudan was earlier reported to have been assaulted at his home in the capital, Khartoum, amid the fighting between the army and RSF forces. Around 185 people have been killed and more than 1,800 injured in 3 days of fighting in Sudan, according to the UN. And finally, the sport news now. Carlo Ancelotti has won his Real Madrid players that Chelsea will see Tuesday's Championship League quarter-final clash as a chance to salvage some pride from their dismissal season. Ancelotti's side looks to protect a 2-0 lead in the quarter-final second leg at Stamford Bridge against a Chelsea side reeling after 3 successive defeats. Real are bidding to retain the Champions League crown, having knocked out then holders Chelsea in the quarterfinals en route to lifting the trophy last season. Despite their struggles, former Chelsea boss Ancelotti believes that Blues will still be determined to prove a point by stunning Real in the second leg. And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this afternoon. But before we go, a recap of the news headlines. Governor Seyi Makinde has asked INEC to declare authentic winner in Adamawa State governorship poll. Federal government has urged aviation workers to end strikes as minimum wage adjustment to be paid soon. We also told you outside the shows of Nigeria that the United States has accused Brazilian president of parroting propaganda over Ukraine war. And in sport, Ancelotti has warned Real Madrid to guard against Chelsea backlash. For more details on the news, visit our website on www.splashfm1055.com. Now you can download Splash FM mobile app on iOS and Google Play Store to listen live, get news update, opinion poll, and you can also report an event live to us through the Our Report feature. To download, simply go to any of the stores mentioned and search for Splash FM 105.